Well, hello. We are back. A little high thinking there. We are back, and this is Final Boss editing. Actually, editing as opposed to writing for a change. I figured it was about darn time. So we are going through the queue. So next on the free edits queue was the Tip of Oz pilot by good old Caleb Jackson, also known as Saberjackalope. Saberjackalope. I like this picture. It's pretty fun. I'm personally, in terms of screenplays, I always am of the, I'll do P0. I prefer simple title pages. But this is clever. So I don't mind it that much, but I usually prefer simple title pages. Anyways, I'd still, the blue is the one thing I don't know if it's for singing. Anyways, off we go. Exterior forest of wild beasts. So yeah, lots of different things, like in terms of a non-traditional title page and a different color. Also, blue is a bit surprising early on. I always encourage writers to keep it simple. Alrighty. Yeah. Exterior forest of wild beasts, night. The Emerald City glows through moonlit night. In the distance, we crane through trees to a tent where Dorothy, 13, is wrapped in a sleeping blanket and sings a lullaby to Toto. I wished upon a star, now the rainbow's not so far. A Tip, a boy, a newsboy, cap and suspenders, rips the tent away and shines a lantern in her face. Dorothy, your highness, whatever, get your royal ass over here! He motions for her to follow. Dorothy rubs her eyes. What on earth? Now, damn it, we gotta move quick! He pulls her away, still in her nightgown. It seems like a misplaced modifier, because it sounds like I would almost say she's still in her nightgown. It feels like a misplaced modifier. Yeah, so just food for thought there. And if you like the main character's name, just type in Tip, and you'll get some writing tips. Alright, anyways. Okay, he pulls her away. Still in her nightgown, Toto barks after them. Cool. Alrighty. Okay, get your ass down here. Okay. Tip leads her to the yellow brick to a yellow brick road. He climbs onto a wagon load of barrels, scoops black powder into his backpack. Grab as much of this stuff as you can and hurry. Half awake, she begins scooping it into her basket. Is she asleep? I wonder why she's half awake. I feel like this would be like, delirious. It's half awake means like dreamlike. I would just maybe choose a word choice with half awake. It's just a word choice thing. I don't understand. Is this gunpowder? Damn straight. We're going to blow up this witch. Dorothy drops her back and blow up the... What are you? How did you... She sees that the wheels have been tarred. That creepy makeshift dummies are hanging from trees. Did you rob this wagon? Tip grabs her shoulders. Dorothy, sooner or later, you're going to have to decide what kind of princess you want to be. Are you going to be a pansy princess that everyone pushes around? Or are you going to be a badass warrior princess that says, screw you, I do what I want? Dorothy thinks. Okay, Tip. I will do what I want and return this wagon! She grabs his backpack, but he won't let go. Toto, but he won't. She grabs his backpack, but he won't let go. Confused about the backpack. I'm also like, at this point, especially after a long line, so yeah, I think at this point, we had this long, like, Dorothy, are you going to be a princess or are you going to be a pansy? One, it's a little bit of a long line for how urgent the action of the scene makes it feel. But at this point, I would wonder, because they have banter. I mean, I kind of want him to at least tell her, like, hey, we're gonna, blow up the switch. Why? Is she about to do something? Are kids about to die? Is there gonna be an accident? It's like, why now? And why is it so urgent? Why isn't it like planned, Blow up the... What are you? How did you... Okay, did you rob the wagon? How does she know that he robbed it? Yeah, backpack grabbing, and how she knew he robbed it. I want some evidence. What about the tar dummies makes me... Are they like squirming? Are they people tied up? Okay, anyways. They accidentally knock a lamp over. Ooh, they see the powder ignite. Or I would just say the powder ignites. This is just a pro. I'm going to be less granular on the pros in a few pages. I'm just trying to hopefully find a few little, writing quirks that you may have that hopefully a few little prose edits can help clear up. So, they see the powder, blah, blah, blah. You can just change that to, that is always, that the subject and verb, really all the modifiers you add in the sentence, all like the they see, by moving the action of that sentence out of the subject verb, they see the powder ignite instead of the powder ignites. You dilute some of the power of that sentence. And so one thing as you're going through, especially a screenplay, because there's not that many sentences in a screenplay. It's maybe, 20,000 words, 30,000 words tops. So you do have a lot of flexibility to really, fine tune. People do it in novels too, so there's really no excuse. But yeah, going through and those are the types of opportunities you can really fix in a later draft. You may probably have more fundamental things to change, I don't know, depending on what draft this is. But yeah, especially when you get towards your final drafts, those are the types of things that can really help pick things up. I'm here! What up, Cyber Jackalope? Welcome, welcome. Boom! The flames tower over the treetops. The explosion forms a scary face that roars before vanishing. The three look at the smoky crater in the yellow brick road. That was awesome! Dorothy glares at Tip as he laughs maniacally. We open on an old-timey bike. Exterior. Okay, so I love like Tip's kind of like hustle here, but I think that goes back to my question, which is like, why is it so urgent? Why are they in this sprint? He's gonna blow up the witch, but like his rushing seemed to create the whole issue. So like, where is the urgency? So yeah, I mean, I as the reader took them. Tip tackles Dorothy over the edge, laying in a boulder. Boom. Yeah, so it looks like his plan failed. Like, unless that screeching smoke was the dying witch. Oh, the idea was the driver might come back with soldiers or something. Okay. So is the witch in this carriage? Is that what happened? So I think those are just some things. So like, you definitely have room to clarify, because look, you have this really long line where he kind of is like, listen, Dorothy, are you going to step up or not? So I think, and this is one of my earlier notes, is you do have some room to give us some of the reason. A wagon load of barrels. Yeah, but that's like the stolen barrels, but then it just blows up. So why is he happy? So I would just ask some of those continuity questions. Anyways, we're back on the Kansas Farm Road day. Open old-timey bike parked on the side of the road. Dorothy, did she hurt you, Toto? She places Toto on her bike's basket and mounts. Miss Gulch, 50s, a crotchety but dressy old woman, chases them. She holds a bloody hanky over her hand. Dorothy! Goodbye, Miss Gulch. Dorothy waves with feigned serenity, kicks off, and speeds away. She looks back and sees Gulch's 1904 Oldsmobile pull out of the driveway. She turns in the opposite direction. Dorothy brakes. I know, get Uncle Henry, that thing he's always wanted. Okay, and pulls out, turns in the opposite direction. Dorothy brakes. Oh no, she's going to tell Uncle Henry and Aunt Em. I doubt she'll want them to take you away from me. No doubt. Oh, no doubt. She'll want you to take them away from me. Okay, Toto whimpers. Dorothy dismounts, looking at the road. I know, we'll get Uncle Henry that thing he's always wanted. Then he won't hand the heart. We're going to make all our problems go away. So there's two kind of notes here, at least in the dialogue, and maybe I'll just put these together. One is you have a little orphan here, and oopsie, how did it jump down? Whoa, easy there. You have a little orphan line there. Whoa, what up, practice made perfect? How's it going? Welcome. Me is an orphan on Dorothy's line. Might save some space to trim. Also, be specific in dialogue even. What is the exact thing Uncle Henry Yeah, what does Uncle Henry actually want? Okay. You look different. I know, I shaved my beard. 15 minutes and 9 seconds. You came right on time, Larix. No, the witch is looking for them in the scary face because the powder is laced with magic, which doesn't need to be mentioned now. I don't know that I think about it. Weren't you on 4 hours ago? I was, Larix, I was. But I took a break. I made some dinner. I made a steak dinner for the Foxy lady because she's going to have a big day tomorrow, big test for her school, for her pharmacy school. Get a first degree and a Nobel Prize. Excellent, excellent. Well done. Well, now we're finally doing an edit. So get excited. I haven't done an edit in a while, and we're getting through the queue. Both are 2 big wins. So, yes, I've been pretty lazy about getting through the queue. Well, actually not lazy. I've been working on a novel, which takes a lot of time. But I did want to take a little break tonight. Where's my boyfriend to make a steak before test to me? I know. Well, or husband, or anything. Come on, world. Quit bringing me down. She looks back and sees the Gulch's 1904 Oldsmobile pull out of the... Okay, Toto perks up. Dorothy remounts. Don't worry, Toto. We're going to make all our problems go away. She rides off towards town, past a rainbow, to Munchkinland. Town is a colorful assortment of buildings. Little people zoom into a steeple decorated with fairies. Fairy Temple Day. Tip hides in the rafters of a roasted chandelier. Do you look a bit like Day 9? No Craigslist in my Larix, I suggest Craigslist. Rude. No Craigslist in my country. Oh, man. So sad. Well, if they pay me as much as Day 9, then I'm good with that. That guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time.
He does pretty well. Does okay. Anywho. Back to beeswax. No Craigslist in that country. What's up, practice made perfect? Give me the scoop. Hopefully life is good. but what do you mean no Craigslist stuff? Alright, anyways, I'm going to get back because I know I want to make sure I have enough time for my second edit, so I'm going to keep reading. Tip hides in the rafters in a chicade. Boodly-doodly-doo. Munchkinland. We zoom into a steeple decorated with statues of fairies. Tip hides in the rafters above a chandelier, lowering a string. A hook approaches a roasted pig on a table. He hooks a leg. He smiles. He tugs. It won't come loose. Stomach growls. He thinks. I would show this. What does that look like? Because that can mean... So, I mean, every time you kind of use less concrete nouns, you're missing, or verbs even, you're missing an opportunity to tell us more about the character. How does, Tip think? What does it look like? Scratches, chin, frowns, So I think it's okay. That's a pretty minor note, but it's always, those are just those little opportunities that can open up a lot of doors. I have some overall notes that I'm thinking of right now, but I'm not going to go into them just yet. So don't worry. I'm not just only looking at the line item details. I'm diving into college with straight C's. Well, as long as, hey, C's a passing grade, so nothing wrong with that. As long as you're working your hardest and getting those, doing what you feel is your best. That's what counts. Okay, door opens with the pig halfway to the rafters. Tip freezes. Blended 28 curly blonde and sparkly dress. enters with a cake but remains focused on someone in the other room. Yes, the royal family has been gone for years, but we still hold their feasts in hopes that the princess will return someday. She sets the cake on the opposite end of the table and leaves, tip-sides with relief, then continues lifting the pig. He licks his lips as it comes within arm's reach. Snap. The string breaks. The pig hits the table and breaks half the legs, forming a ramp. Glinda re-enters and sees the cake sliding towards the pig. She lifts the legless side just in time to save it. She slides the cake over the unbroken legs from a seesaw, the cake and the pig bouncing on each other out. Glinda, curse the fairies! She flinches at the statues. The fairies, you know, I didn't mean that. It's just we've been wishing so long for you to return our princess, and you've given us no reason to believe that she's even alive. Tip gets an epiphany. Okay, wait. I've missed something, I think. Tip grabs a charcoal. He draws a dress and a parachuting stick figure arch line leading from empty space. So he's trying to get this cake, unsuccessfully. The action is a little bit unclear. The thing I would just think about, and this is, I'm going to go into my overall notes in a little bit, but gets a little fuzzy. So I feel like did the table break to make this seesaw? You know, how exactly, is this laid out? I mean, it doesn't matter that much. Like, I do get it, 90%, which is okay, but it still could be a bit more concrete. Yeah, but I kind of get the gist of what's going on. It's like he wants this cake. Glinda's mad about Dorothy being gone, and he almost gets the cake but fails, and then gets in trouble with Glinda. The second spark hits, he floats out the window in a bubble. Tip punches the bubble repeatedly, but to no avail. He sees two guards pincering from the windows. He draws a pocket knife and pops the bubble. He slides off the roof. He lands in a rose bush. He painfully emerges, pulling thorns out of his skin. More guards pour open the door. So the spacing here is a little funky. Why aren't these one paragraph or separated? Rube Goldberg humor is hard to write. I know, right? But yeah, I think those are the yeah. But it's just places to focus. I think I'm a little confused. The action lines seem oddly laid out here, each with a space. Each seems to have its own line, but no space between that would normally separate. Yeah, I mean, this is just a formatting thing. And one thing that might do you really well, Cyber Jackalope, is I'm sure it's possible to get a hold of the script for what was the Return to Oz? Yeah, I mean, there it is, movie scripts, they'll be somewhere there. But then you can actually see screenplay. Yeah, they have it on Amazon. They have it on, all these different things. Screenplays for you. I guess not. That's something else. Anyways. But yeah, I would just see how they're doing their formatting, because I feel like this formatting feels different than what I'm seeing. Like, this is normal formatting up here. This feels a little bit different, and I would just be making sure that You're keeping whatever you're doing consistent and continuous. Also, do we need to have the singing in blue? I would just ask that question. I don't feel that my own take as a screenwriter is I would just format everything exactly the same and then just put the singing note, whether that's a parenthetical that goes down here or something else. But also see how other screenplays have had this singing thing. I don't. My guess is I would not. This does not look like industry standard from what I know. I could be wrong because things may have changed, but like, make sure when representing singing you've checked another screenplay with singing and make sure it looks. Oh, they did. Then I guess you're right. Then that's why I was just asking, because I don't think I know the answer. Totally honest. And that's what I was saying. Like, if you've checked a few screenplays and this is how they do it, hey, that's how they do it. That's fine. Okay, it's my childhood. It's been good. It's so full of friends, some made of metal, cloth, and wood. We've been together longer if I could, but now there's more important things I should. She piles toys in a wagon, hauls it off with her bike. Tip emerges from the clothesline, and a heavy cloak blends in the crowd. I'm on the run. It ain't no fun. I'm safe for now, but here's a chase. Chase is far from one. They'll be around with magic and their guns. I'm afraid the worst will happen when we're done. Does he really think they're gonna murder him for trying to steal a cake? Is death the penalty of cake stealing? That's pretty harsh. So that makes Glinda feel more like an antagonist. This makes Glinda feel like an antagonist, which may be your purpose, but that's just what I'm just kind of giving my raw impressions, and I'll kind of be a little bit more. I'll take a minute to just kind of go through and say, hey, this is my more higher level. A guard pulls his hood off. Tip grins innocently, then throws the rest of his cloak over the guard and runs off. Pawns her toys. I want more. Tip cleans the fire escape. More. Dorothy counts money. I'm wishing for. Letter in the guard's wreath. I want more. Deposit money in the counter. More. Whatever's in store. Okay, so they both kind of. So it's interesting because I feel like we did not have Dorothy. Well, I know we didn't have Dorothy in the last graph. Oh yeah, I said he was doing screenplays well. Okay, nice. That's good. Yeah, I trust the blue. I trust a different color more than I think that's fine. Yeah. Ooh, yummy. Okay. Don't worry, Toto. I'll find a way to get the rest of the money. Munchkin land. Tipsy's a guard. Reach the roof. Into the line, boy. Leaps into a lower balcony. Montage. Hoping for. I gotta work to pay the clerk, and this reluctance to employ me really irks. A bit of a funny line there. I would just be really thoughtful because music is very, it's very, very similar to poetry. It's probably even more regimented than poetry because you're looking for some very, very similar beats. So that feels like a little bit I gotta work to pay the clerk, and this reluctance to employ me really irks. I have a share of weaknesses and quirks, but that's no need to be a heartless jerk. I don't know exactly how it's gonna be executed, but just think through it. Play it on a piano, I guess. The guards chase Tip above the rooftops. They're closing in. I'm really pinned. The distance from the slammer is getting awful thin. I don't think they'll forgive me of my sins. I'll have to get resourceful if I'm gonna win. Dorothy mounts her bike into feet. I want more. Tip cornered on the ledge looking at festival. More? What is he looking for? What does he want more of? So I feel like in Tip's story, is he looking for more opportunities to escape? What is Tip looking? What is Tip's more? What is Tip's more? In the context of the scene, it could be like, venues of escape. I don't think that's what you're intending. Or it's like food, food represented by the cake. But is there something bigger? Is this a better life free from crime? I think that's maybe what you're going for. That needs just a hint to suggest. I would just say you don't need much, but I would definitely think about. I know what Dorothy's more sort of is. She's trying to keep Toto safe by acquiring finances. I think, I think those are the things more than stealing food. Exactly. Oh yeah, exactly. Okay. But yeah, I would maybe, because we don't really get what. Like, he's just saying more. Like, okay, what do you want more of, Tip? Like, do you want, because he just starts by saying more, and maybe it is, it just doesn't, his desire line doesn't feel as clear, I would just say, just from this read particularly. Maybe I'm wrong. Gotta have more. I will have more. Staring down at the road. Yeah, I never really understood either. Like, okay, maybe this is a little bit earlier, so maybe more like P7. So what does money have to do with what Dorothy's trying to accomplish? I know she wants to keep Toto safe, and I know she wants to get something for Uncle, H, which requires money. But I don't know how Uncle H's gift equals, Toto's safety. So these are like the things that I would just really, it's so important. You can have so many other things be unclear, but the one thing that can never be too tough to grasp, it needs to be the desire line, the motivations of your characters. That has to show up clearly in every scene. We can't, it's so hard, and I think you're doing a good job here, but I think if I was to tell you to give a little bit of extra, just tightening of the screws on one thing, it would be really making it every single action connect to that motive. So, okay, Dorothy wants to get money to get something for Uncle Henry, but why does getting something for Uncle Henry solve this Toto problem that I'm not even super sure how? So they crashed her bike and she's trying to somehow keep her dog safe from Miss Gulch, but what happened? Was she actually in the wrong? I would really just dial in and say every motivation needs to be clear, understandable, relatable, and needs to connect with every action. Same with that first scene where, you know, Tip is showing extreme urgency. He says, okay, we gotta move now, Dorothy. We gotta blow this thing up. And then it blows up and he's like, oh, that's pretty. So like, if his motivation was truly to kill the witch now, it's our only shot, why did he have such a flippant reaction to his failure? Those are the types of things that the motivation, maybe there is an explanation, you might have it, but we as the reader must have a clear sense of the motivation, why each action is getting taken. That's something I'm still editing in my novel, and I'm having to add that in with exactitude because it's so hard to nail and it's so hard to get right. But when it is right, the reader will care about all the action because they have that good, clean motivation line coming through. The guard's okay. Look for a way down. Tip slips under the candy cart into a manhole. Didn't know there were manholes in Oz, but I guess so. Oh, darn, I'm at the end. I want to read more. I am a gentle-faced woman sits worldly on the sofa. Remember, Henley, she'll be kind. Uncle Henry, more-hearted man, stands cross-armed. Emma, I have everything under control. I got you a present, Uncle Henry. Okay, cool. So she got it. Okay, let's talk overall notes here. So first off, great job. I think this is a lot improved from the other drafts I've read. So I love the tone, and I think the flow of song is working really well. I think it was a great idea to bring Dorothy in. She's a character we all know and can serve as an anchor in. Okay, the idea was that he wouldn't have the heart to take Toto away. Okay, so that I think will be, because you kind of give it in song a little bit. So that was what I thought, was that he will be so happy with her that because of this gift, I guess it wasn't in song, but he will be so happy with her because of this gift. Yeah. That he won't have the heart. Okay, so it's somewhat clear. Yeah, she looks back at Gulch's Oldsmobile and pull out of the driveway. Turns out, okay. Oh no, she's gonna tell Uncle Henry. They'll take you away. I would just do, yeah, I feel like maybe it's just a little bit of a dialogue cleanup here, because this is pretty verbose. So this is Dorothy soliloquizing. Oh no, she's going to tell Uncle Henry and Aunt Em. No doubt she'll want to take you away from me. So just by having, that's that verb, like, that's that, you know, that verb thing we were talking about, where that action of your sentence needs to be in the subject verb, instead of, no doubt she'll want them to take you away from me. That's like a little fuzzy, where it's like, they'll take you away from me. So, like, you know, just rewriting it with that, and it'll be shorter anyways. Oh no, she's gonna tell Uncle Henry and M. They'll give you to her. You know, they'll hand you over to her. They'll take you away from me. That's much more accurate than no doubt she'll want them to take you away. So it's like so many modifiers happening on that base clause that it's hard to kind of get, because that's like really critical. I know, we'll get Uncle Henry that thing he's always wanted. Then he won't have the heart to do what? Again, like you kind of suggested earlier, then he'll let me keep you, you know? So keep that subject, and this is like so helpful, and it's like, just remember, what's the base action? And this doesn't matter in an early draft as much of your story, but when you get to those later drafts when you're really trying to just make that prose really snap, what's the action of the sentence? How do I take away as many modifiers and get it to the subject verb so like, it's okay to have modifiers on the sentence, but the core action of the sentence needs to be a really clear subject verb, then you can modify off of it. The core action of this sentence is they will take you, or they will hand you over. And then down here we also get a little bit of vague stuff in dialogue. Another thing where being concrete is extremely critical. We'll get Uncle Henry that thing. What thing? That he's always wanted. Then he won't have the heart. The heart to do what? And it's all suggestion and implication, but that can be more active. I know, we'll get Uncle Henry a tractor. That tractor that he's always wanted. Then he'll let me keep you. Boom. Those like little concrete details, especially on these critical lines of dialogue that establish the goal for the character, those concrete details count. And keeping that action and the motion of the sentence and the subject verb in the core, then, all the modifiers, great. Like, long sentences can be really powerful. I think they're fantastic. Yeah, it's a gun, by the way. Maybe it's okay. So, we'll get Uncle Henry that rifle he's always wanted, or like that Colt rifle that he's always wanted. Even more, name the brand. Even more, the Winchester that he's always wanted. Then he'll let me keep you. Boom. It's just, when it comes to motivations, it's okay to be a little heavy-handed, in my opinion. But I think that's really good. So yeah, let's just go, and then I'll say the stuff to improve. And it's like, just tighten and clarify. Because I think, like I said, I think you, the writer, know what those motivations are for Tip and all these characters. But it's just like those moments when we are getting it as the reader, those have to be unquestionably clear. The motivation moments. The first scene about blowing up the witch feels a bit oddly placed. Let's say flash forward. But yeah, I'll try reestablishing it earlier. It's kind of withholding information for shock value. Got you. I totally get that impulse. My gut is that, and this, it's so hard to do. And so I think, like, because I've talked to a number of writers, both in my grad school class and on Twitch and in other editing I've done, and every time they're like, I want to do something for surprise and shock value and I want to withhold information, it is really hard to pull off. Like, I don't know if anybody... Yeah, I would always just say, hey, whatever will make the situation as clear as possible is the priority. Saving a punch later, like, it doesn't matter. The drama is in the unfolding of action, not the revelation of facts. Drama is in watching, and it's like, there's nothing, when you watch Thor Ragnarok and the Hulk and Thor are fighting, there's nothing unclear about that situation. There's no hidden fact. It's just, we all know everything we need to going in, and we want to watch it unfold. I think that is a safer ground for especially people like me, writers earlier in their career, where, like, yeah, you can save some motivations and some actions for later, but yeah, the more, like, I would only do like one or two, like, and that usually is the antagonist motivations that you save for the very end. The protagonist motivations, I would, avoid too much obscuring. Any intentional obscuring is usually not recommended. Anywho, I do think that initial scene with the flash forward is a little funny. Both in terms of I'm not sure how it's tying in. I'm seeing this flash forward, and I'm not sure how it ties into the future action. It also is a bit confusing grasping Tip's character. does he want to kill the witch or just watch a cool explosion? He seems to lean towards both, but they're exclusive. I also I want to make sure I write down, I liked the flow of action in this draft. Anything else? Yeah, the Glinda scene is also a little tricky. Like, okay, so there's some sort of tradition where she, this feels a little bit expository, which you can get away with because it's a musical. So musicals tend to have people soliloquizing a little bit more than your average screenplay. But, Glinda's scene and Tip's robbery feels a little, feels like it could be polished and tie into Dorothy's. So I got to change that last line, yeah. And that's the thing, like, I think you're totally right. Like, it would be a Tip thing to love. He's a total nerd. Like, he's just a geek, and he is, like, just loves that, fire and the pyrotechnics. But you are right. He cares more about that mission success. So he should be like, no. And then, his, like, I want to feel that be a failure. And then that flashback to, the lead up to it will feel a lot more weighty. Also, I don't know because, I only have 10 pages, so I don't know. But I would ask, do we have to have it out of order? You have another action-packed scene with this robbery right after, that scene where he's trying to rob and then the stuff is going on in Kansas. So just ask yourself, do I need a flash forward as my, hook? In film, you really have a little bit of space to build up. So it's okay, but it is a very commonly used device, this, flash forward. Yeah, but I would also say the robbery scene feels a bit like a bit polished and tied to Dorothy's dilemma a bit more. How does, this robbery influence the plot besides giving us information about the ground situation of Dorothy being gone? Yeah, so just food for thought. I think this is a really, really strong start. And I think that it's improving a lot, especially since the last drafts I read. So I will say, 1, keep up the great work. I think you're really heading in the... Oops, whoa, what is going on? Why are my notes not showing up? Oh, no! Man, you guys... Oh, I suck. Hold the phone. What the heck? Ugh! I'm so annoyed. Is it this? Oh. I am so sorry. I didn't even notice. Gosh darn it. You guys should have told me my notes weren't coming up. I'm so sorry. Oh, man. Jeez. Now I feel like a knucklehead. Oops. Oh, my God. Shame on Final Boss. I am so sorry about that. Yeah, I probably should have said something. It is all good. Well, I'll go through them real quick. I'll do a recap just to give you all the note experience. I am so sorry about that. Duh. Alright, anyways, yeah, so it's kind of the basics here. Let me make sure that's showing up all right. Yes, it is. Okay, I'm going to space this down a little bit. All right, so then, first note, simple title page, just some kind of basic stuff. There you guys go. I'll scroll through that kind of slowly here so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. This crazy thing. And there's the other half. So yeah, the overall is like I love the tone, the flow. I think it was a great idea to bring Dorothy in, and I will send you these notes as well, so don't worry for how they got there. Yeah. But the wonder is, do we need the setup? I guess that's part of the Oz trope is like something is happening in Kansas. So yeah, I agree. Maybe we do need the setup, but yeah, I just see like so many movies have the have like the jump to make it interesting, and then let me give you like 5 pages of exposition. So that's a risk. I don't think you're doing that here. I think those 5 pages that follow your intro like flow really well, but it's a very common trope, and it's something that a reader, like if I was reading, I would be like, ooh, like, oh, I've seen this trick before. Like, try to make it, interesting really fast, and then let's back up and make it all make sense. So yeah, those are just some things to consider. Gosh, what the heck? Now it's like literally impossible to move around. Anyways, I will send these notes over, so if you can't read them on the screen, fear not, you will get them soon. The next thing coming up is going to be Microsoft. It's going to be on Google Doc that Captain Kaori has sent over. So, I know. Apparently, running, all right. So here are the Google Doc bits. Wrong one. Where's Chrome? There we go. Oh. Okay, so here is Her by Captain Kaori. So get excited. Captain got to skip the line because they are a subscriber. So if y'all have a free edit and you want to skip the line, you'll be next up. This is the rewrite, so I'm going to go over to the notes. Story synopsis. Samson wakes up suddenly in shock. Shari goes back and receives a phone call. The devil is a caller, giving him only a very brief warning. Dead in a car crash. Devil is playing a game for his life. Okay, so he has a goal. It's kind of a horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the sub, Cyber Jackalope. Thank you. Welcome to the Mini Boss Club. Much obliged. Much obliged. Well, you already got your edit, but I guess you can resubmit and you'll be in the front of the line. I might try to do a few people first just because we just edited you and I don't do them too often. But yes. Thank you very much nonetheless. And I think you've made a lot of awesome improvements on your story. I remember seeing the early drafts. Yeah, it's been a big improvement. So that's really, really cool to see it evolve. So yeah, congrats. What was I going to do? Yes, this. But yes, indeed. So okay, so cool. So it's like kind of a horror movie. I see he falls asleep, having a dream. Okay, cool. So it's okay. This makes sense. So it's kind of like a horror of this guy. So I'm not going to comment on a synopsis unless you guys want me to, but I'll just jump into the plot because I feel like that'll be a little bit more helpful, I guess. I woke in a panic sweat. God, it was bad. I was a shimmering pig, a damp rag. I felt dog tired, all but drained of energy. Nothing made sense. I needed to catch my breath. I'm just gonna make this. I don't want to change it up too much. I was gonna space stuff around, but yeah. I mean, I think you're getting to that fine-tuning stage, Cyber, where I think you have kind of the groundwork of writing. You know that you want to have action in scene. Every scene has a goal. You know, he wanted to get the cake. They wanted to blow up the caravan or whatever. And so I think you have a lot of these fundamentals, and it's just tying them all together and really making it pop and saying, okay, just making sure those threads that make those motivations really, really are wire tight and stuff like that. And I think that's very, very manageable and doable. I woke in a panic sweat. God, it was bad. Okay, nothing made sense. I needed to catch my breath. Yeah, so this is a little bit of show don't tell here. You know what? I want to do this as final boss. Swoop. There we go. Anonymous Quagga. Bloop. There we go. This is a bit. This might be an opportunity to show more and give us some concrete details. What doesn't make sense? How does this character catch their breath? Gasping for air, hand on throat, So these are the types of little, and these seem like banal moments, but they add up, I think this is one of the tricky things when it comes to writing really in a concrete fashion, where those simple little things, those simple little I needed to catch my breath, or I needed to think, those really, really add up. Show me how this character catches their breath. Show me how they think. Do they scratch their chin? And this was something that was with your story, Cyber, where there's just like, oh, he was thinking. Like, does he frown? Does he squint his eyes in thought? Whatever that looks like, those can do an enormous amount of characterization work by just without adding any extra length to your story, and it just makes it much more visual. Same in screenplays as prose. I kicked my feet over the edge of my bed, intent on a quick shower. I needed a good soak to lift my spirits, to clear my mind. I'll be right back. Not healthy, but okay. Hopped into the shower, letting the water flow over me. Experienced an instant relief as the sweat slipped away down the plug hole. It's a bit of an odd phrasing there. From that sticky feeling, I turned my mind to what got me here. Something made me experience a violent awakening, and I had no idea why. Okay. So one thing is the remembering the event is always less dramatic than experiencing. You can spell it. Why not have this be the first scene? But I know it's the accident, Why not have the accident be the first scene? Experiencing any story event, no matter how important, through flashback instead of in the active scene is always going to be a less dramatic way to experience it. So you have some opportunity here to say, hey, I woke up and I got into a panic shower is a very common opening to a novel. And this is the question of where do I start? What is the opening scene is the most or one of the most important questions you will answer, and it's something you will always be asking of your work. I am still this last draft of my novel, draft number 4, pretty much 3, I'm changing the opening. It's opening somewhere completely different. So, yeah, it happens. The witching hour. It's a prank call. At least I had the power to end it. I turned off my phone, ready to return to sweet slumber's embrace. Beware these very similar, like, yeah, sweet slumber's embrace. How would he describe his bed? You know, that is a very common idiom, and maybe this character is a character that uses idioms a lot. But every time you see a commonly used idiom or phrase in your work, it's a missed opportunity to say something that's more specific to that character, that's more in their voice. Like, you know, my baby soft sheets, whatever that is, you know, or my now sweat stained sheets. Those are the types of opportunities that I think are sometimes missed if you stick with the idiom. In the bathroom, but he was just in there. Is he still in the bathroom? No. He got back into bed. Just the bathroom. Also, this interiority yeah, like, has he heard people scratching fingernails on his door before? You know, how does he, without a doubt, know that this is fingernail scratching trying to get in? Those are some really good clarification points that I would think about. Yeah, but this time I was like, yeah, I'm done pretty good. See, I'll probably do that full edit thing after you finish your book. No, nice. Well, no pressure. I always am you know, if someone wants to pay for an edit, I'm always down to do a full edit. So there's no time constraints on that. Yeah, for paid work, I usually prioritize for reasons, obvious reasons. So if you do want to do a full edit, let me know. Even if I'm not finished with my book, I'm happy to do it. But yeah, thank you for thinking of us, for one, because I really appreciate it. I'm curious to see the full evolution of Oz. I feel like it's been kind of exciting to watch that screenplay evolve over literally a couple of years. I read it almost a year ago last, and then I read a first draft a little bit before that. Oh, but a little bit. All right. So I got some of my little low-calorie ice cream snacks. That'll help. Okay. Kept the baseball cap on my bed, thinking I might have to protect myself one day. I hoped I would never need it. Before I knew it, I found it clenched between my hands. Okay. Okay. All right. So good. So we. Okay. Good. Yeah. Why does he think it's a human that's out to get him? Why doesn't he think it's a rat or something?